My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the All Elite Wrestling Unrivaled collection, Matt Jackson. And so here we have Matt Jackson posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Matt Jackson only comes with his entrance jacket, which it is made of a soft goods material, which is really nice. I do like it. Other than that, this young buck doesn't come with any other accessories. I think alternate set of hands is a must-have for this line. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at his details. And so here we have a closer look at Matt Jackson, and I think Wicked Cool Toys, has done a really good job with the face sculpt on this figure. Not my preferred expression for the young buck here, but I do think it looks enough like him that it is a pretty good sculpt. Now, unfortunately for mine, the head is kind of loose, and the hair does make his head a little bit back heavy, so on mine, unfortunately, he's always looking a little bit up, and I try to alleviate that, but it's just so loose, and this makes his head so heavy. I'm going to have to thicken up that joint and see if I can't do anything to fix that. But anyway, looking at the figure, like I said, the likeness is really good. The chops are done really well. This is before he grew out his facial hair. You can see they did add a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow where his chin and mustache should be, so I do like that little detail, and you can even see how loose that head joint is. My goodness. But anyway, really like the way the hair is done. You can see he does have it tied back, so it's a really good head sculpt here. As far as the body goes, I really do like this body. It's a very slender body. It's not like we've seen for Kenny Omega or for Cody. It's just right for the Young Bucks, although I think they're being a little too generous. I know the Young Bucks are pretty in shape, but they're not that toned. That's something that I think every wrestling company does, is that they tone their wrestlers. So I understand why they do it, but that's just one thing I do have to point out. Just like with Kenny Omega, he does suffer from the two-tone plastic. Now, it's not as drastic as Kenny Omega. I think they did a much better job of matching skin tones, but you will notice it under normal lights. My harsh lighting seems to have alleviated that problem, so I am thankful for that. Really do like the arms. Now, one problem I have with the arms, and this is going with every figure I've had a look at, I just haven't pointed it out. The way they sculpted the arms, it always looks like there's some kind of cuff right here. There's ways that they can actually fix that by making the wrist the same thickness as the forearm right here, but they didn't, so it always looks like there's some kind of lip right here, which, having wrist tape on this hand, that's no problem. But then when you go to this hand, it kind of looks like he has a cuff and then a glove. And then once again, we have an unpainted hinge. That hinge should really be done in white plastic. I really, really don't like it when companies do that, so that's something to note. Like I said, it's nothing that Wicked Cool Toys does exclusively. Other companies do it too, so that's just one thing I have to point out. I really do like the Young Bucks ring gear on this. They do have a really nice torso, or lower torso right here, with the belt actually sculpted through. Little bit disappointed that the gold rivets on the attire are actually painted on. They're not sculpted on. I would have liked it if these were actually sculpted. I think that would look a lot better. And it does appear that he is missing one gold dot somewhere on this side, because you can see there's 4 here, 3 here. Does look like it is missing a piece. You can see he has some, what is the word I'm looking for? They're not streamers, tassels right here on his ring gear. Really do like the silver paint there, and then they did a good job with the white going all the way down to his calf here, where the the tassels continue onto his pant leg here, which that does look good. And I do like that they did sculpt these really big parts on his pant leg right there. You can see, really do like small little details like that. And then again, really nice paint right there. And then he is wearing black ring boots. So overall, they did a really good job with Matt Jackson's attire here. Really good job with the face. It does look good, but just like with all the other figures, he is very pale, and under my camera I did alter the exposure just a little bit. It's still very, very bright. Now, Wicked Cool Toys has announced that they will be fixing that. Hopefully we see it in Series 2, but that is one thing to note, that these figures are incredibly pale and incredibly bright, so do take that into consideration. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually compare them to other figures you may have in your collection. So here we have Matt Jackson posed next to an Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and an Elite CM Punk. And finally, here we have Matt Jackson posed next to younger brother Nick Jackson. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at his articulation. Now, he does have the standard articulation that we've seen from the Unrivaled collection, which is a ball joint here at the head. He can look up a little bit, but as you can see on mine, it is really loose. Can look down a little bit, and that seems to lock his head in place, so that's pretty good. He does have a hinge in the neck, so he can look down only to about there, unfortunately. Can look up quite a bit, and I do like the fact that the ponytail is a softer piece, so it does allow for upwards movement. No head tilt, and we do have left and right movement, and yeah, that is a really, really loose joint. I will have to fix that. Shoulders do go all the way out, and they go past horizontal. As you can see, that's really good movement there. Really ratcheting joints there, but it's perfectly okay. The arm does a full 360. We do have bicep swivel. We have double bend here at the elbow, giving us much better than 90 degrees, so I really do like that. We have a hinge in the wrist, which goes back and forward. Then we have rotation right there at the peg. We do have a ball joint here in the torso. He can crunch forward, can crunch very far back, can crunch to the other side, as well as some rotation. We do have another ball joint down here, and combining the two, we get exceptional range. Going all the way back, he can almost matrix exclusively in the upper torso, so that is pretty good. It does rotate, but just like with all the other figures, because it's not a perfect circle, you can see it does butt up against itself. And the mistake they made is that this is soft plastic, and you can see that it starts to rub up against the plastic, so you do get that rub. So that is a little bit unfortunate. Legs kick out to the side, no problem. Really good range there. Just like with all the other figures, he only kicks out to about there. You can make him kick out, but you also kick the leg out at an angle. And like I said, you can rotate the leg to have him kicking forward, but that's a lot of steps just to have a figure kicking forward. It's not as bad as Toy Biz Marvel Legends, but it is something to note with these figures. We do have thigh rotation, which works fine. A double bend at the knee, going much better than 90 degrees. Best articulation we've seen on these figures so far. Now, he doesn't have a boot rotation because his pant leg goes all the way down. So we do have rotation underneath the pant leg, but it is severely limited by his pants. So you can see it does rotate. We do have a hinge which goes back about that far, and that's about as far as we get. It goes to neutral, and that's once again due to the pant leg. And then we do have forward-facing pin for rocker, but it's practically useless because the pant leg is sculpted to be flat on the floor, so they didn't give much room for the feet, but that's perfectly okay because he still looks like a really nice figure. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And here we have Matt Jackson posed for my final thoughts, and overall, I really do like the way the Young Bucks came out, although they do have some issues we do need to address, especially with some lack of articulation in the feet. The feet could have been done a little bit better, but there's really no way you can actually do articulated ankles if you do have the pant leg come all the way down to the foot. I think that's one issue that they have. It could have easily been alleviated if they just lowered the foot peg by about a quarter of an inch, and then he'd have a little more rotation and articulation in that ankle. Another thing I'm not too thrilled about is the material that they went with the jacket. I didn't get a chance to touch on it in the full review, but the jacket that they did go with, even though it is a soft material, it is fabric, but it does feel a little plasticky. Like, you don't really get the full articulation that you would like. I tried bending his arms as far as I could, but the material would always bend them back out. So that is something to note with the Young Buck figures, is that even though it is a soft goods jacket, you still have to put up with it being a little bit stiff. They could have used a lighter material, but that's neither here nor there. It's just something that I do have to point out with this review. Other than that, I still think this is a really good representation of the Young Bucks. Matt Jackson here is done exceptionally well, and between the two of them, I think Matt Jackson is the stronger figure. It's probably due to better paint apps, better face, and the plastic isn't as mismatched. But if you are looking for the Young Bucks, they are available at Walmart at the time I'm making this video. They are really hard to come by, though. I actually had to pick up my full case of Unrivaled collection from Ringside Collectibles, which at the time I'm making this video, they are sold out, and it is really hard to track down All Elite Wrestling figures, with the exception of the ring and the title belt. But we're not reviewing that. We're reviewing the figure, and I do think this is a really good figure. If you're a fan of the Young Bucks, you're definitely going to want to pick these up. So with that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other AEW videos and all my other wrestling reviews. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely take a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.